thinking back to when we first started going through the pandemic. I guess we're pushing on 3 years. And I said back then, I was asking my peers in the industry, and I said, where is the script for us to follow for this? And here we are 3 years later, and I'm still looking for the script. Some of it is make up as you go along, and that's what we've been doing, and we've been doing the best we can with what we know, and I know you have, and our patience is a little weary, and now we're going through some other phases, which are really ripple effects of the pandemic with inflation and employment issues, and unfortunately, some of that stuff is probably going to hang around for a while. But anyway, so we've got someone has come in the door, eloquently said, so this is your next to last meeting, right? And I said, you're probably right. And so I didn't draw it up this way, but my last meeting will likely be that budget rate increase meeting. I want you to know I did not design it that way. This is not exactly how I thought I would have my farewell tour. But anyway, you do what you got to do. But I have been in routine contact with the new CEO, Libby Bush. She was actually on campus for a short time this Monday, and she and her husband Jeff have closed on a home out near Cane Creek Road. So they are extremely excited about coming to Asheville. And I have been weekly having a phone conversation with her to get her prepared so that when she comes, she'll take the baton. There will be a little crossover of her time here and mine, but not a lot. And so my goal is in early September, she will be fully prepared, ready to go, and she's surrounded by a huge cast of characters here, as you know, that have long-term tenure at Deerfield. So she'll have history around her, continuity in every service area that we have here, and I'm very optimistic about the future here. So with that, I thought we would do something that is certainly special for me, and I think you'll find it too. Leading Age North Carolina had its annual conference at the Grove Park Inn back in May, and we were very fortunate for one of those cast members, Shirley Burnette, who is our Director of Human Resources. She received a very neat award, Service Excellence Award, I believe it's called, and Ms. Hubbard is going to help me here in a minute to give you the exact details on that. But I reflect back to when I first came to Deerfield back in 1998. And my office was in the little square donut building that you see the pictures, you cross over the bridge. I was brought in specifically from Florida, where I had developed and managed nonprofit communities similar to Deerfield before I came here. And I was brought in to help navigate a major repositioning and growth phase for Deerfield. And the community with the Square Donut had about, I think, around 80 residents in total, about half that number of staff. And it was one of these things that that project that we built back in 98 to 2000, it was actually at that time the largest building permit pulled in the history of Buncombe County. So it was a big project for this, anywhere, but it was a sizable project, and we quickly went from 80 residents to close to 400. And so you know pretty much the story from then on. But part of my job was a large part was trying to figure out what are the important priorities. And of course, a large part of that is to assemble the team to come from the Square Donut over. Not many of those people that were hired to run the Square Donut were really in line to come over and be in the same position as here. But one of the people I found very, very early on, Shirley Burnette, and Shirley had been at Deerfield several years. She was in dining services. And she started off in kind of the service position and worked her way up to be the dining of dining services for that facility then. But what I saw with her is a heart of gold, a compassion for the residents of Deerfield, and truly understood the Deerfield culture. And so with that, communities like Deerfield were just really starting to formalize and have more of a human resources department. And so I was talking to Shirley one day and I said, what do you think about this? And she goes, well, I don't know anything about that. And I said, well, let's talk more about it. And we talked more about it. And the evolution was that she became our very first director of human resources. And the perfect person to do that and lead us over the last 24 years in that regard. So I've asked Marilyn Hubbard to come up, and we're going to read you what was read at the Leading Age Conference back in May when Shirley was presented with the award. Marilyn has worked with Shirley through the resident committees for some time, and we just thought she was the perfect person to do this.
Shirley tells me she's not going to say a word except for thank you. But you all know me and you know that I will say a few words. As Bob pointed out, by the way, she received the Excellence in Leadership Award from the Leading Age program. So it's a picture now receiving that award just at the top of the stairs or where the elevator comes out. So take a look sometime and see all the people that we have had over the years who've received these awards for excellent service and leadership, etc. She began, as Bob mentioned, working as a server in dining services at the age of 15. Her mother worked in housekeeping, and you lived close by, right? Just across the street, so she could walk over here. So she became very familiar with the Square Donut because that's what was here when you first started. So she roamed the campus with wide-eyed wonder. This is what it says here. She began working as a dietary aide and then became assistant to the food services manager and then the food services manager. Bob Burnette came 25 years ago, and he talked her into getting the credentials that she needed to have to become the community's first human resources officer. And that she is still our one and only human resources director after all this time. I was on the Employee Appreciation Committee for 7 years, so I saw her working with us. I was chair of that committee for 2 years, so I worked really closely with her. And over that time, I not only admired her and appreciated her, but we became good friends. And that's been a very special relationship to have. With what they sent to the Leading Age people, and as Bob mentioned, she went from being in a place where there were about 50 employees and 100 residents to over 300 employees and over 600 residents. So that job really mushroomed. But they said here, Shirley is fair and equitable, yes, trustworthy, committed to Deerfield's best, an advocate for employees, energetic and always willing to jump in and get her hands dirty, warm, approachable, and empathetic, kindly direct. And I like that. She doesn't beat around the bush if somebody needs to be talked to, but she does it in a very kindly manner. And she's a team player. And she developed a great team also. Sandra Mims and Vicki Davis. Vicki has been with her for 15 years, Sandra for 12. I think that speaks volumes when you have your employees who have been working directly with you staying that long. But what they didn't mention, and what I have to mention, is the fun aspect of Shirley and her team. They didn't mention the ugly sweaters contest at Christmas time, or the Halloween pumpkin carving contest, or the Halloween costume contest, or the employee float for the Santa Claus parade at Thanksgiving time, where our employees dress up as reindeer and ride the float, usually in the rain. Somehow the rain seems to come just about the time of that parade. The big Christmas party for the employees and their children. Unfortunately, with COVID, that's had to go by the wayside, but the children still all got presents from Deerfield. So if you go past the office and past the classroom around that time, you'll see it's full of gifts that will be given to the employees' children. She's done this living across the mountain. She drives 250 miles a week to get here. So she's no longer just right across the street. She's a ways away, but that hasn't stopped her. Bob mentioned that she is the champion of the Deerfield Way, which is respect, dignity, and care for every member of our community, and that's true. I like to think that the atmosphere that we have here at Deerfield, which when people come in, very often they will tell us, this is a different place. A lot of other places have fine amenities and all of that, but when they come inside the door of Deerfield, there is a different atmosphere. The residents are talking and laughing with each other. The residents and employees are talking and laughing with each other. The employees are talking and laughing with each other. That's something that has to be cultivated. And I really think that Shirley, in the way that she has dealt with her employees, has helped bring about that very special atmosphere that we all enjoy. And my mantra is that happy employees make happy residents, and happy residents make happy employees. And much of this, I'm sure, has come from the way Shirley has worked with the employees. So thank you for 45 years of work.
I did say that I wasn't going to say anything except thank you, but I would like to say that these 45 years have been fantastic most of the time. There have been some challenges, but we've gotten through them, and we're going through challenges now, and we will get through these also. But I have enjoyed each and every year that I've been here, and it's simply because of you all. We do this because of you. Thank you.
And so Shirley's plans are to be here through the end of the year. So there will be a retirement reception and plans coming toward the latter part of the year, but she will be with us for a while. And I'm just very grateful. With that, there are multiple team members, leadership team members throughout the room. We'd love to catch up with you, and if you got any questions or thoughts or whatever you want to talk to us about, we'd love to talk to you. So I really appreciate you being here. Keep the faith and have a great weekend.